you made it to part 3, the last of our properties. So these are the weird shapes. We saved them for the last because they're different. These today that we're looking at are kites and trapezoids. So these are still quadrilaterals because they have 4 sides, but they will not connect at all to the other 4 we've looked at. They're totally different. So for our kite, we've got 2 properties in our definition. So property number 1 is that the diagonals of a kite are perpendicular. So that means they cross at 90 degrees. We talked about this with the rhombus. So these diagonals really won't look like diagonals for a kite, but it's where it goes from one angle across to the opposite angle. So that means they meet at that 90 degrees. So all 4 are 90. Property number 2 is that there is one pair of opposite equal angles. One pair of opposite equal angles. And that pair is always going to be the angles that are closest together. So that would be this angle and this angle. Those are going to be equal angles. And then our definition, our last piece, is that it will have 2 pairs of equal consecutive sides. So that consecutive means they're touching, they're next to each other. So what that would look like is this top piece and this bottom piece are equal. This top piece and this bottom piece are equal. So you can see they share an angle. They're consecutive because they touch. Here they share an angle. They're consecutive because they touch. As unlike with a rectangle with a parallelogram where it was those opposite sides that were across, bottom, top, side, side, here it's the consecutive, those touching pieces. All right, kites are weird, I know. So if you've got questions about that, let me know. All right, and then our last shape are trapezoids. So first we're gonna look at just a trapezoid. Then we'll get to that piece down there. So just a trapezoid, what makes a trapezoid is that it has one pair of parallel sides. So with our parallelogram, both pairs were parallel. So with the parallelogram, the rectangle, the rhombus, the square, it had 2 pairs of parallel sides. The kite had no parallel sides. And our trapezoid has 1 pair. And those will be called your bases. So it's just 1 pair of parallel sides. So then we could also have an isosceles trapezoid. So this is where we get some little specials going on. So our isosceles trapezoid, number 1, it still will have that 1 pair of parallel sides. it will always have that one pair of parallel sides. Remember, those arrows mean the lines are parallel. They never touch. Our second feature about a isosceles trapezoid is that the diagonals are equal. If you'll remember, that was the same as a rectangle. So the difference here is that there is only one pair of parallel sides, not two. Let's see if I can turn that. Okay, close enough. So that means that this diagonal and this diagonal, those whole things are the same. They're equal. So, and then our definition of an isosceles trapezoid is that it's going to have equal legs or sides. So this equals this, and it's going to have equal base angles. So that means that the angle at the bottom is equal to the other angle at the bottom. The angle at the top is equal to the other angle at the top. So the top and the bottom will not be the same. Those will be different numbers. They will be parallel, but they'll be different numbers. But the angles at the bottom are equal to each other. The angles at the top are equal to each other. I know that was kind of fast and furious with angles or trapezoids and kites. So if you have any questions, please ask and go ahead and see if you can take these properties and use it on the practice.